Ball game coming up next. Welcome to Wednesday Night Hoops, presented by Staples. We're inside the Sundome in Tampa, Florida for a Big East matchup. And tonight, the Pitt Panthers take on the South Florida Bulls. Pitt has dropped out of the top 10 because of two key injuries. And tonight in South Florida becomes a must-have for the Panthers. Welcome to South Florida, everybody. Dave O'Brien, my partner, Doris Burke. And those two key injuries we talked about to starters Mike Cook and LaVance Fields. And they are reeling a bit, having lost 2 out of their last 3. Talking about Pitt, they cannot leave this town, Doris, with just a nice tan. They've got to get a win.
They're coming off a game against Villanova that they were in position to win. They were unable to make enough plays. So guys who are being asked for the first time in their careers to be pivotal in wins have got to experience success, or Seton Hall becomes a monumental task.
Let's give you a look at Star Watch now. A couple of monster rebounders in the Big East going toe-to-toe.
Similar frames and similar games. Both guys with excellent hands. They're rebounding machines. They're dominant scorers on the low block. Blair a little bit younger, a little bit smaller, about 2 inches, but terrific performers.
To the starting lineups now. And for Pittsburgh, Keith Benjamin replacing Fields. Ronald Ramon is the senior. He's a bit nicked up right now. Gilbert Brown replacing Mike Cook. Sam Young hits for 17 a game. And DeJuan Blair is the man in the middle. For South Florida, Jesus Verdado and Dominique Jones are both good size guards. Chris Howard runs the point. Orrin Chin and Kentrell Gransbury start in the front court. South Florida coming in at 10-5, 1-1 in the Big East under Stan Heath in his first year here in Tampa. 42 years old, and Doris, he has already been a head coach at 3 schools. You may remember him from Kent State and Arkansas before South Florida. Led both of the previous schools to the NCAA tournament. And of course, taking Kent State to that stunning run all the way to the Elite 8 in 2002. He's up against Jamie Dixon, who is up against it. One of the brightest young head coaches in college hoops right now, but trying to figure out how Pitt is going to do it in the rugged Big East without 2 starters. The Panthers now seem to be vulnerable against most good teams. You know, Villanova in that game, they were able to expose a couple of things.
22 turnovers resulted in 29 Villanova points. And this is a Pittsburgh team that prides itself on toughness, and it also prides itself on ball control. So that is one thing they'll have to clean up tonight.
Pitt at 12-2. Look at our officiating crew, and we are set to go. That one deep into the backcourt. Ramon will scoop it up, and Pitt wins the opening tip. We are underway here in the Sundome.
Ramon, who is their best shooter, over 40% from 3, gets less shots now because he moves to the 1 in the absence of Fields.
They go to Blair immediately for the hook. Sweetly done by DeJuan Blair. Just a freshman. He never looks like it.
I love how he plays. He's very effervescent, great personality, elevates the level of his teammates in practice and in games.
And plays much better and bigger than that 6'7" would indicate. Up top, Jones looking in, a talented freshman in his own right out of Lake Wales, Florida. Gransbury handing off. Howard kicks out. The shot by Verdado on the money. Jesus Verdado, he can knock it down out there.
Now for the Pittsburgh Panthers, R&R, where can you get Ronald Ramon some rest and DeJuan Blair? Because with Blair off the floor, they're a different team. Decision-making, as I said, they've got to be better with the basketball.
And Ramon with an aching shoulder as if they didn't have enough troubles. Sam Young rattles in that turnaround. Now for the Bulls as well, their keys tonight.
Well, they want to pressure with effect. They, as most teams, I think, from this point forward, will give Ronald Ramon all he can handle for 94 feet, see if you cannot wear him down.
Gransbury, big body, wants it down low on the block, muscles his way in and draws the foul. This is not necessarily a great thing for South Florida. He's only 55%. Sam Young with the personal foul, his first.
Well, obviously with the 2 absences, you've got some players on the Pittsburgh bench who are seeing time, more time than is typical. 5 different guys for Jamie Dixon against Villanova set their career highs in minutes played.
Jamie doing a very good job of keeping it together, at least outwardly, and keeping that confident focus for his team, but dropping 2 out of 3 in the Dayton loss by 25 points And that was a grimace game. That was a trouble game for them. You knew on the schedule it could go badly, and it went even worse than that.
Yeah, they had no answer for Brian Roberts, who is as good a guard as you'll find in the country. The kid can flat out score it, and with great range.
You saw the Bulls really attacking Ramon when he got the ball in the offensive zone. That's going to be a theme tonight. They've really worked on that in practice. Young on the turnaround. It'll roll in. Nice touch.
Yeah, this is a guy who is healthy for the first time in his career, starting for the first time in his career, and he has been very special at times. Very athletic, solid offensive player.
Underneath, it's Gransby. Too high off the window as he was harassed as well. Benjamin off the wing. Here's Brown, the youngster. And now the Bulls will try and run here. In the Syracuse loss over the weekend, they shot the ball quite poorly, just 29 out of 72, and made just 6 out of 26 from three-point land. They can look ugly.
Yeah, on the positive side, Jones was terrific. Scored another 20-point game. He has had 5 already.
Oren Chin, the 6'7" freshman out of Jamaica. He draws the personal foul, and you see the big smile there from DeLon Blair. Just loves to play. And so Chin to shoot. He's at only 56% at the line. This is something that the Bulls really scuffle with, only 65% as a team.
Really hurts you with Gransbury, because this is a guy who gets there 7 times per game. He really could be averaging close to 20 points, Gransbury, for Stan Heath. Instead, he's at 15.
South Florida trying to climb out from the Big East bottom feeder status and into contention. That's going to be some process for Stan Heath if he can turn things around here, but they are 10-5, and they do have a win in the conference. That came against Rutgers by 23. We talked about the Syracuse loss up at the Carrier Dome. Ramon bouncing for Young. He wants to shoot it early, taking that baseline. Outstanding move, went to the right hand to lay it in. I
tell you, he can go off the dribble left or right, so you've got to play him straight up. And if you're going to guard him with one, maybe somebody can give you assistance. So you attack baseline on the left-hand side. Hard to come with help.
Young at 17 points, 4 rebounds per game, becoming the go-to man for the Panthers. Is Gransbury to stuff it in at 6'9", 270. You better get out of the way.
That takes its toll around the rim, that much size, but just great position. That was one thing Pittsburgh really focused on, where they would allow him to catch and where assistance would come from. But that's a good early find by the Bulls.
That is a man underneath that rim, and he's averaging 11.6 rebounds, the top returning rebounder in the country. Young turns around and out. Howard will push the tempo. Chris Howard, good point guard and an outstanding passer. The jump shot from the wing, off target by Howard.
He is in the top 5 in assists in the conference, Howard. Very good with the basketball, doesn't turn it over a ton.
Expect to see the gentleman on the court in blue here a lot tonight because they are so short. And there's Blair getting a little bit lucky off the offensive end.
Yeah, well, he seems to be in the right place in the right time. And I'm telling you, if he's close to the basketball, even in traffic, the guy to come out with is going to be Blair.
Here's Jones. Yes! He's hitting 43%, the freshman out of Lake Wales, Florida. That jump shot got Dixon hopping mad. He was quick off his bench on the Pitt side.
I think you've got to find him early, identify your shooters. Now we're seeing zone, and Stan Heath will throw a lot of zones at you. He's got a 2-3, a 3-2, a 1-1-3. He's going to come with a lot of looks.
There's Ramon. Just glanced off the iron and out. It'll go back over to South Florida, but a good look at Kentrell Gransbury, a guy you don't hear a whole lot about. At his size, you ought to. 15 points, 11.5 rebounds a game. He averages a double-double. You'll see a lot of them here tonight in the Sun Dome.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by Staples. That was easy. And in part by Nissan, who invites you to shift the way you move through the world.
Oh, what a lovely day here in South Florida. Temperatures up around 80 degrees, nothing but sunshine and blue skies. Pitt with the 1-point lead early on South Florida. Pitt, of course, a ranked opponent coming in number 20. So South Florida looking for that giant upset, which hasn't happened very often against ranked teams. 8-69, Doris, all time.
Yeah, well, I think the challenge, one of the major challenges for Stan Heath is the lack of tradition here. I mean, they're only in their 37th year of basketball. 2 NCAAs, 7 NITs in that period. The last NIT, 2002, so it's been a while.
Saka coming on and wearing that protective mask. There's a reason for that. He caught an inadvertent elbow in the Rutgers victory on January 2nd. That busted his nose. He's actually fitted with that protective mask he's wearing right now. During that game, he came back on the floor. From time to time, you'll see him adjusting to it. Some guys do better than others. It's just downright uncomfortable.
On that tape, he came out of the locker room with that mask and then took it off in the second half. When he re-entered, he had it back on. You've got to wear it to protect your face. It was an inadvertent elbow from Rutgers Njai.
Verdejo, nice feed for Gransbury and tipped in his own miss. Then he tapped his chest. He said, my bad on the first one, but he made good on it.
Yeah, he, like his counterpart Blair, if it's around his area or both guys will go out of their area to board it. But that's a breakdown by Biggs inside for Pittsburgh.
Good start for the South Florida Bulls here tonight on their home court. Brown feeding Biggs the turn. One dribble down, followed his own miss with another miss. And Pitt will have it here with 14:24 to play in the first half.
Those were two very good looks, and that just goes back to the point I made in the open. Biggs is getting more minutes, Gilbert Brown getting more minutes, Benjamin more of an important guy. These guys have got to experience success to feel good about their chances to win games.
Brad Wanamaker getting on the court now for Jamie Dixon, but really he's only going 7, occasionally 8 deep. And beyond the starters, the other guys play very infrequent minutes anyway. Pull up pop by Ramon. Yes, nothing but net on the 3.
So that time in a 2-3 zone, facing a 2-3 zone, they get good ball movement, and that allows Ramon to get off the ball and get his feet set.
Jones swings to the wing. Again, Gransbury powering his way in. Going toe-to-toe with the Bigs inside.
How about that? Pittsburgh going a zone defense. I think before Villanova, they maybe played one possession of it this year.
Brown got a great look. Biggs was holding off Saka, and he commits the foul for Pittsburgh. The college basketball on ESPN continues with the Thursday night showcase. First at 7, Bob Huggins in West Virginia take on Derek Carricker and Louisville Cardinals. And then at 9 o'clock Eastern, Sean Pruitt and the Illinois Fighting Illini take on Trevon Hughes and number 21, Wisconsin. Thursday night showcase presented by T. Rowe Price on ESPN.
Bo Ryan, 7 years at the Kohl Center. He's lost 6 times. So Illinois will try to make it 7.
Don Blair, the impressive freshman, back on the floor here. Gransbury with 5, the rest of the squad with 6, but they are certainly targeting the big fella.
Now Pittsburgh, Jamie Dixon in his history doesn't play zone, but you have to with the losses.
Gransbury drawing the foul. As we've indicated, this is not always the best thing to happen. You would much rather score that basket, stay away from going to the line. The foul goes against Dewan Blair. And Gransbury to the stripe. The senior has already graduated. He was on December 15th with a degree in communications. Blair has to come off with his 2nd foul, so a big early development in this contest here in South Florida.
That's huge. They are not the same team. There's nobody who eats up rebounds like he does. McGee had played in 4 games thus far, so the freshman 6'10" has got to produce for Jamie Dixon.
So Gary McGee, 6'10", 255, averaging less than 1 point per game, taking over for the Pitt Panthers star. Brown traveling with it. Gilbert Brown, the freshman, with the turnover. And Pitt looking a little disjointed at the moment, especially with Blair on the bench beside Jamie Dixon.
So yet another adjustment, and they stay in this 2-3 zone. It gives you a couple things. One, it's not as demanding on your guys physically, and I know coaches would be loath to admit that, but that's the reality. And it protects you from foul trouble because you can't afford any more. Blair's already got 2.
Cross-court pass, and errant toss picked off by Brown, and he lost his dribble. But Pitt forcing the turnover. Wanamaker down low. Good look to McGee to stuff, and he'll go to the line. The foul on Saka.
How about that by the rookie? They feel like this guy has got Aaron Gray type potential. In fact, they say he's more skilled as a rookie than Aaron Gray was.
And a great reaction over there by Blair as well on the bench after McGee stuffed it and trying to complete the three-point play. Ransbury with the big rebound. Now the Bulls are coming off a loss at Syracuse last week. Jim Boeheim called a timeout early in the second half and abandoned that 2-3 zone for a man-to-man defense. That really shook up South Florida. And Syracuse went on a 12-2 run and put that game out of reach. It was only a 9-point game at the time. It goes back over to Pitt here.
Yeah, you know, sometimes your expectation as a team is you're used to seeing Syracuse in that 2-3, although Coach Boeheim has gone more man-to-man, I think, in his recent history than early on.
And Ronald Ramon hitting the bench. A 15-12 lead for the Pitt Panthers. With 12:17 to play here in the first half. And South Florida a good bit deeper than the Panthers are right now. Solomon Bozeman coming on the court, and Stan Heath can go 10, maybe 11.
You wonder, does that take a toll in the second half? Latter stages of the second half, inside of 10 minutes. Here's the 1-1-3 zone. A couple of different looks that he'll throw at you.
Wanamaker and a traveling violation. That's really plagued Pitt in that loss to Dayton. What did they have? 9 traveling violations alone in the second half?
High number of traveling violations versus them. 6 charges against Villanova. They're just without Levance Fields, who would go down graduating as the best assist-to-turnover ratio in Pitt's history. They're a little bit shaky on the offensive end.
Trying to get out of South Florida with a victory they fully expected to have, certainly before the injuries. Bozeman driving into the paint. Flips it for Holmes, pretty good shooter. Shot clock down to 10. Nicely swung into the corner, and that jump shot right on the money by Dominic Jones.
Good possession, Dave. Why? Because the ball went to one side, it reversed completely back to the other. You're asking the defense to move and shift, and when that happens, open shots happen.
Jones, the freshman, tying it with the triple. Benjamin looking inside, but of course Blair's on the bench right now. McGee on the high post. Tough defense right now by South Florida, and tipped up and in by McGee, who's made a big difference coming on.
He's played in 4 games, a total of 20 minutes before tonight. How about that? 2 big plays. He looks very comfortable.
Pitt by 2. South Florida giving them a spirited fight early here in the first half. The kick is Bozeman. Around and out. McGee mishandled the rebound, but Pitt gathers it in. Remember how the season started for the Panthers with 11 consecutive wins. And then the injuries, which could crush a lot of teams. It's McGee again, and one. He'll go to the line.
Nice little drive and dish. And then against the zone, they've been pretty patient.
Dominic Jones moments ago with a long 3 that tied things up at the moment. It's 23 against Syracuse over the weekend. Back-to-back 30-point games this season. He can fill it up. The Bulls need him tonight. Doris Burke and Dave O'Brien with it, and Pitt with the 19-15 lead over the South Florida Bulls. Great to have you along. Hope it's just as warm and sunny wherever you are, but there's no chance. It's just gorgeous here. Let's go inside to play a little bit and how Pitt is attacking that zone.
Well, what a lift on the road from McGee, a guy who has not played. Now, this is against the zone. Now, freeze it here, guys. On the catch, it's this drive and pitch, and McGee has his hands up and prepared. Wanamaker, another one of those guys who's being asked to do more. Makes a nice play against the zone. That gives him a 4-point edge.
The foul by Aaron Holmes that will put the big fella to the line, and the big guys for Pitt. Blair on the bench right now, but McGee coming off and doing terrific work here in his stead.
He is. You think about Pittsburgh getting off to that 11-0 start. They beat Duke, but on that particular night in overtime, Mike Cook gets injured. It was almost like you were riding a high, but you couldn't enjoy one of the best victories in the history of your program. You try to regroup. You're down to Dayton on the road, and you lose Levance Fields. And I thought the point you made earlier about Jamie Dixon, He hasn't changed demeanor, and he hasn't changed his level of expectation. And when you do that with young people and you make them believe that they are just as capable of winning games without key guys, it has a profound effect on them.
The newspapers back in Pittsburgh are saying, well, maybe they can get 9 wins inside the conference. And Jamie's like, what are you talking about, 9? We set our sights a lot higher than that. We're not changing for anything. He still thinks they can win 12 times in the Big East. Gransbury goes down. Harvey's traveling with it. So Cantrell Gransbury with a tough rebound, but winds up giving the ball right back to the Panthers. Here comes Ramon back on now for Pittsburgh, and Biggs will leave the floor.
It'll be interesting to see. Does Blair get a ton of minutes here in the last 10, or does he sit the remainder of this period with the 2 fouls?
Benjamin thought about the 3. He'll take the 2, and that didn't touch anything. McGee tried to save it. It's off him. 10:16 to go in the half. We talked about Pitt without Cook, without Fields. Fields is going to be out 8 to 12 weeks. He could return by the end of the season. They also lost redshirt freshman Austin Wallace. Those 3 players accounted for 26% of their minutes and 28% of their scoring. Verdejo backs it out. Jones dangerous beyond that arc. Verdejo off the screen. Shot clock down to 12. Howard wants to do it himself around Wanamaker. Tough move, and it's tipped up and in by Gransbury. He's all over that glass.
Yeah, and he's just so active. I'll tell you, on any shot that goes up, he immediately looks, where's the open area on the floor? He's got a good sense, good nose for where it's coming off. Pitt came out of the zone in that particular instance. On the drive, you took your help out of position.
Ramon jumps in and had nowhere to go. McGee, low post, double teamed and swatted away. GE jumping in to knock it away. Talk about what Pitt lost in losing these 2 starters in particular.
Well, Mike Cook, a guy who last year, his assist number is only 2.6 this year, but last year second on the team in assists. So 2 guys with very good handle who could create shots for guys around them. Therefore, the struggle on the offensive end.
McGee to the bench for Pitt. Real good effort in his first half minutes. Ramon bouncing for Young. He had the hot hand early. Here's Benjamin. Off target. Young really battled for that rebound. He out-hustled everybody.
Just great athleticism, good timing.
Benjamin, the crowd said go ahead and shoot it, and they got their wish, much to their dismay.
Wow, about 38% from deep. And he can go off the dribble, worked hard to be able to get off the bounce to balance out that ability to shoot the deep one.
Senior very calm in the corner. Pitt's lead up to 22-17. Gransbury, dangerous pass there, and it's picked off by the Panthers. Pitt looking to push the tempo. Knocked away by Howard. The scramble for it and a whistle. With 8:39 remaining here in the first half. The foul will go against South Florida.
Keith Benjamin, the ball goes from the top to the corner. He hesitates, which typically for a shooter is not a great thing. Pull the trigger with confidence.
Mobology Ajihi from Nigeria with his second foul. And South Florida also with players from Jamaica, Puerto Rico, all over the place. Pitt in possession here, leading by 5. Young thought about the turnaround pop, and he commits an offensive foul as he fired out that left elbow.
Yeah, that was a set that South Florida worked really hard on defending at this morning's shoot-around. They wanted to make sure that there was assistance if necessary on Young, and he did. He just goes chest with that left shoulder, just buries it into the defender. Look at that. Obvious call, good sell.
Not Chris Howard to the floor. Pitt, a Sweet 16 team last year in the NCAA tournament on the strength of 29 wins. Will they have any luck getting close to that this year? Gransbury fouled. He will go to the line off the foul from Gilbert Brown. Check it. Terrell Biggs picks up his second. He got hit with it. And Gransbury to the stripe again.
6 NBA scouts in the house. looking at this gentleman here, it's been a consistent theme for all of their home games. Right now, projected late second round.
His game against Syracuse, 13 rebounds. The 7th game this season of 13 or more rebounds. He's just been a monster. And he was last year at over 11 per game.
Led the Big East in offensive rebounds a year ago. That now falls to DeJuan Blair, who's been sensational off the offensive glass.
Inside, Simone stumbles, and it's a violation, a 10-second violation. Never got across that line. South Florida playing with a lot of passion against a top 20 opponent on their home court. 7:58 to go in the first half. Pitt clinging to their 3-point lead over South Florida. And ESPN dishes 2 college basketball games on Saturday. First at noon Eastern, catch an ACC showdown. NC State taking on Tyler Hansbrough and top-ranked and still undefeated North Carolina. But boy, just barely. Clemson gave them all they could handle. And then at 2 Eastern, coverage moves to the Big East. It's UConn taking on Roy Hibbert and number 8 Georgetown. Doris and I will be in our nation's capital for that one. College basketball presented by Alltel Wireless.
15-game winning streak for Carolina, but without Wayne Ellington, who had 36 points on 5 of 8 trays, including the dagger late in that basketball game. They don't come out of there with a win. Oliver Purnell has turned around yet another program.
Tough luck against Carolina. Winnable game for Clemson on their home court. Went to overtime. And the Tar Heels would put it away. From the corner, Verdejo. Yes! On the money again. Jesus Verdejo, a former Golden Gloves boxing champ in Puerto Rico, with the jab.
Transfer from Arizona. He has got an ability to score the basketball. Now they've come out, a little pressure.
Benjamin running things now. The pull-up leaner follows his miss, flipped it up, and took the contact as well. The foul will go on McGee with 7:21 to go in the first half.
How smart is that play by Benjamin to put it off the window, understanding there was enough contact that he didn't want to just board it, he wanted to shoot it.
So Benjamin catches 2 parts of the rim and falls off. 6'2" senior out of Mount Vernon, New York. And got the second in. So Pitt's lead at 1.
So with DeJuan Blair on the bench, you have not lost the lead, which is monumental for Pitt, because you lose a dominant rebounder and a capable scorer and a very good passer.
Howard averaging 12 points a game. He's been pretty quiet here in the first half. Verdejo off to Gransbury. Gransbury's so active. One dribble down, and now moving his feet. He's traveling with it.
Nice job by McGee to hold position, just try to make him play over the top of you.
So Gransbury a little too active for Stan Heath on that occasion. Pretty good battle there between McGee coming off the bench and one of the best big guys in the conference in Gransbury. There's Brown on target. Gilbert Brown, who has a 38-inch vertical leap. No one defending him there, so not necessarily show it off, but he can absolutely fly.
Tremendous athleticism, like Sam Young, and a guy who was coming before the injury to Mike Brown, so his minutes would have increased anyway.
Gransbury really wants it. Again, McGee bodied up on him. The crowd howling for the foul there, didn't get it. Good job of defending in that paint by McGee. He sets the pick here. Benjamin's 3 is too strong, but Pitt gets it right back, and a fresh shot clock.
You're learning something if you're Jamie Dixon about Mr. McGee and the fact that, you know what, you're getting quality minutes. He might be able to help you.
Ramon looked up at that shot clock now at 14. McGee up to set the screen. Benjamin, shot clock at 8, airborne, yes.
There is a guy who early in his career came off the bench, would always press. His shot selection was never great. You made the reference earlier, he's calmer. There's a different presence about Benjamin now.
So Pitt opens up a 28-22 lead And behind their experienced senior, Keith Benjamin, up by half a dozen here in South Florida. It's Wednesday Night Hoops presented by Staples from the Sun Dome here in Tampa, Florida. Dave O'Brien and Doris Burke with you. Little Big East action coming your way. Both coaches doing some excellent work here in the first half.
I thought it was a good timeout by Stan Heath. And remember, his background is with Michigan State's Tom Izzo. 5 years there. They have a national championship to their credit in 2000. He recruited some of the best players on those teams. I think if he had his druthers, he'd be about 80% man-to-man, 20% zone. But taking over this situation as he speaks with Pat Krager, he's employing a lot of different defenses because his guys weren't picking up his man-to-man as fast as he would have liked.
Pitt's freshman star, DeJuan Blair, continues to sit. That's been for a huge chunk of his first half with 2 personal fouls. But so far, Pitt hasn't really needed the big guy. Not too much anyway. A deflection. South Florida will have it with 13 on the shot clock. You talked about Stan Heath and the Tom Izzo connection. This is his 7th season as a Division I head coach. 3 schools, Doris. He's only 42.
Yeah, he's a very young man. He rode that success at Kent State to the Arkansas job 5 years. I think people surprised. Back-to-back NCAAs, and he's let go. But I think clearly their expectation level was, hey, they want to go back and advance in the NCAA.
Chin too long with the three-pointer. And now is the door opening up for the Pitt Panthers to extend that lead, rolling toward halftime inside 5 minutes.
Yeah, they're going to grind games. I believe they can get to double-digit wins in a conference. They'll grind, they'll defend. If they correct the turnover issue, they're going to be in a lot of games.
Lamone on a hard drive, takes another tumble. It's the second time he's lost his footing and traveled.
He was playing off the ball, a lot more minutes at the 2 guard. He's been a combo guard throughout his career, been a reserve, been a starter. Always been a team guy, though, Ronald Lamone.
Very good defender, the senior out of the Bronx. Saka playing with a broken nose. Jones trying to split the defenders. A foul against the Pitt Panthers with 4:34 to go. That'll be on Gilbert Brown. And that'll be his first.
Going to try to split defenders, and in doing so gets caught up with Gilbert Brown. He'll go ahead and get some free throw opportunities.
Some good freshmen on both sides in this one, and here's another in Dominic Jones at 17 points a game. He's South Florida's top scorer. 6'4" freshman. 69% at the foul line, and we'll have another one coming.
You look at his frame, and he's got excellent size. He is prepared to play in the Big East now. Great range on his jump shot. He had a stretch of games earlier where he went 30, 30, and 25. The last guy to do that as a freshman, Allen Iverson.
More pressure here now by the Bulls. Cannot force the turnover. Benjamin on the hard drive. The short jumper. That's his shot.
Yeah, he likes the floater. And I'm telling you, how to work a lot of late nights in Peterson Event Center to get that handle tight enough to make that kind of move.
The Peterson Event Center, where Pitt has been so dominant, particularly the last few years, but they're on the road tonight. Saka left that leader short. Rebound torn away by McGee, who has really given Pitt some toughness on the interior in this one with Blair on the bench. Brown floats in, gets it to go.
So all of a sudden you start making shots, you get a little bit of confidence. Guys understanding I can be successful at this level.
Bransbury trying to stop that run, but he can't do it. It's McGee again with the board. He is cleaning the glass. Benjamin again, right on the money for 3, and he has to take another timeout for South Florida. Into double figures now for Pitt, 35-24. And McGee coming off the bench has really given the Panthers a terrific lift in this road test.
Well, he made a couple of shots, but he's defended well. But don't touch Keith Benjamin right now because you're going to get a heat blister. He feels really good. He hit a couple floaters. He hit one from 3, and he says, yes, sir, I'm playing.
And Benjamin with 11, and he's hit 2 out of 4 in the first half. He leads all scorers. So Pitt number 18 fully expected to have a win when they left South Florida, but of course that was when they were looking at the schedule in the preseason and circling, you know, what might be the trouble spots, like Dayton, for example. You figure coming to Tampa, a team that was 12-18 last year, was going to struggle for wins in the conference. This was, if not a guaranteed win, it's a game you're supposed to come away with a victory. That was before the injuries to Cook and Fields in particular.
Yeah, that's why we made the point at the start of this telecast, because they dropped that one to Villanova in the fashion they did on the road. The Pavilion, a tough place to play, but they were in position to win the basketball game. Had a lead, had a nice drive by Ramone, misses an easy one, and then all of a sudden Nova takes the lead on 2 free throws.
Pitt on a 13-2 run over the last 4 minutes plus. Gransbury demanding the ball, a foul and one. He'll go to that line. Timeout on the floor, and Kentrell Gransbury will shoot when we come back to South Florida.
And Jimmy Dice gets set to join me on the Dix halftime report. We'll take a look at the ACC Powers, Carolina and Duke, both in action. Wait till you see the 7'7" player that Carolina's dealing with tonight. We'll go out west, Lavin's here, so we're going to focus on teams that are power tripping out there. Arizona, Wazoo, when we come back at the Dix halftime report.
Well, the band is blaring here in South Florida, but it's Pitt on the run right now, although Kentrell Gransbury is trying to stem that. And the 6'9" senior out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, a well-fed 270. A little too strong with that foul shot. He races for it, calling timeout, and stayed in. And it's granted for Gransbury in South Florida. So Kentrell with the hustle. 3:13 left. It's just a 30. In the first half here inside the Sun Dome. Jamie Dykes trying to keep his ship rolling through calm to seas with all the injuries, but taking on a South Florida team that is desperately seeking the upset. They haven't had many over the years. College basketball on ESPN continuing Thursday night. At 7, Bob Huggins in West Virginia will battle Derek Carricker in Louisville. Then at 9, Sean Pruitt and Illinois against Trevon Hughes and number 21, Wisconsin. It's Thursday Night Showcase presented by T. Rowe Price on ESPN. Pretty good coaches duel there as well, Doris.
Yeah, 600 and 500 wins respectively. The 3 losses for West Virginia, by 2 to Tennessee and double overtime to Oklahoma. They were handled on the road by Notre Dame, which I thought was a really good win for the Irish. They beat Marquette by 15. They are for real, folks. They are guarding like you would expect a Bob Huggins team to guard.
South Florida in possession, but trailing to number 18 Pittsburgh on the Bulls' home court. Here's Dominic Jones, averaging 17. And silence for the most part. Great feed to Gransbury to lay it in, but that was tailor-made for Kentrell Gransbury.
Yeah, not an easy pass either. I mean, that's against the zone defense. You're coming along, penetration on the baseline. That's just the weak side falling asleep by Pittsburgh.
The senior having a strong first half, 14 points, 4 rebounds. Brown got in close and laid it in.
How about the great body control by Brown?
The bounce from Howard. South Florida gives it right back. And Gransbury has been the offense. Pitt scoring leaders, Benjamin with 11. Brown getting in there with 7 now. And getting good balance. Brown with the charge. I should say that will go against Pitt. A charge against the Panthers. And 2:24 left here in the first half.
The 2 guys doing the scoring right now for South Florida, Jones and Gransbury. Somebody else has got to help them, because you'd love to put some pressure on. If you get this thing back to separation by 1 or 2, you know Pittsburgh is struggling mentally. They're struggling to find roles. Make them feel some heat.
South Florida's been abysmal at the line as well. Saka too strong off that back iron. Just 25% at the foul line. McGee bounces inside. There's Biggs. Got in close where he likes it.
So Biggs, an outstanding pass. What a half for McGee. Setting up Biggs inside. He has just done a sensational job defensively, scoring the basketball, and that time the assistance.
The feed for Jones, trying to get position, batted away from him with 19 on the shot clock. And South Florida to check it in here. 39-28, getting comfortable now for the Panthers as they move toward the half. Ransbury trying to nudge his way a little bit closer to the goal. Now sweeps in and laid it in. That's nothing but strength right there.
And there's a guy that if you don't come with assistance, and Pittsburgh worked this morning on coming with a hard trap. That time they elect to let him go one-on-one, and he makes them pay.
He has 16 along with 4 rebounds. So Ransbury has already exceeded his points average for the season. The scramble Saka goes down, and in possession he will give it up with 1:02 left in the first half. Ransbury backing in moments ago.
And McGee just trying to make him shoot over the top. He gets around. He's got good feel, Ransbury, around the rim for where he can best spin off the defender.
Pitt on the mishandle. Off Ronald Ramon and back over to South Florida.
See, those are the kinds of turnovers against better competition that pinch you in the end. Let's see if South Florida can't make some more threes.
Our Star Watch update. Blair spent most of the first half on the bench. Ransbury in the game, trying to keep South Florida in it as close as they are, only because of him. He wants it every time down the court, at least to touch it. Long shot on the money by Verdejo. Jesus Verdejo, and they creep a little closer.
Yeah, they were in it because they were able to make some threes early, and they're just playing off Ransbury.
About a 4-second difference with the game clock slightly ahead of the shot clock here. A 6-point lead for Pitt. They're going to run as much clock as they can here. Ramon with it.
They'll bring a high screen up generally. This is how they won a couple of games. They lost to Villanova. Here comes the high screen.
It's McGee to set it. Shot clock down to 5. Wanamaker and bodied up and fouled in the paint with 3 seconds on the shot clock. 7.8 seconds left in the half. Verdejo commits the foul.
But just very good execution. You wait until you give yourself an opportunity for a shot and a follow. And here comes a high screen by McGee, which is a play they run a lot in late clock situations. They beat Duke on that exact play with Levance Field running it.
Brad Wanamaker, the freshman from Philly, shooting 2. And Jamie wants a timeout here. Obviously plenty of time left for South Florida to get off a very good shot, regardless of what happens on the free throw here. 39-33 Pitt.
I think Jamie Dixon wanted to make sure, make or miss, he understands, or his guys understand what defense they're in. Will they come with a little soft pressure to make them take some time off the clock?
That's a pretty good first half for Kentrell Ransbury. 16 points, 4 rebounds for the moment. McGee has given him a lot to think about. Came in averaging just about 1 point a game and has 6, and he's been pretty good on the glass as well. With DeJuan Blair sitting right next to Dixon most of the half.
Yeah, what did it buy you? It bought you a full half of basketball, or half of a half, without DeJuan Blair being put in a position to pick up that foul. That completely changes how Blair can approach the second half defensively. So McGee was absolutely huge.
So Blair pretty much just a cheerleader with his 12 points and 10 rebounds per game. At least for the first 20 minutes. Wanamaker to the line. One more coming. He missed the first. 7.8 seconds to go before halftime. He makes the second end. So it's Pitt by 7. Jones with an opportunity to get off a good shot. 3 seconds left. A leader batted away by McGee. The long one will fall way short by Wanamaker. But it winds up a 7-point lead at halftime for the Pitt Panthers as we go to the studio for the Dick's Sporting Goods halftime report with Carl Ravitch, Jimmy Dykes, and Steve Hollywood Lavin.
Hollywood, big time. We'll go anywhere with Lavin. And in fact, we're going to focus on the teams out west in just a bit. Also ahead of us, we're looking at the Jolly Green Giant, if you will. 7-7, the challenge for Carolina tonight. We may have our next Hollywood hoopster when we come back.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Citi. Whatever your story is, your Citi card can help you write it. Citi, let's get it done. And Domino's. You got hot pizza, you got it delivered. Domino's, you got 30 minutes.
Oh my goodness. It's the kind of place you need to know someone to get in. But we finally got reservations. The service was fantastic. The wine list was phenomenal. Thanks. The food was tiny.
It's like elf food.
Oh gosh, I'm so hungry. So we got some more. A lot more.
Whatever your story is, your Citi card can help you write it. Citi, let's get it done.
Are you guys okay?
That 30 minutes just went by so fast.
Yeah.
Guys, I could take a trip around the block or something, give you guys a little time.
No, that's good.
Thank you.
Domino's. You got 30 minutes. Here comes the big fantastic deal. You got a large. You got whatever toppings you want for a flat rate of $10.99. You got the BFD.
Can your car play every song you own? Play track, let it roll. And can it make phone calls all at the sound of your voice? Call Amy. Hi, this is Amy. Be right there. If it's the attention-getting Mercury Milan, it can. Milan's the only midsize car with Sync, powered by Microsoft. Now lease a well-equipped Mercury Milan with Sync for only $199 a month. You gotta put Mercury on your list.
Let me tell you about a very important phone call I made. When I got my Medicare card, I realized I needed an AARP Medicare Supplement insurance card too.
One simple call gave me the chance to talk with a personal health insurance advisor
who answered all my questions about Medicare supplement plans.
If you're already on or eligible for Medicare, call now to find out how an AARP Medicare Supplement Insurance Plan, insured by United Healthcare Insurance Company, helps you pay some of the 20% of your medical expenses not covered by Medicare Part B. That can save you thousands of dollars. These are the only Medicare supplement insurance plans exclusively endorsed by AARP, a name you trust. When you call now, we'll send you this free information kit, plus this free guide to understanding Medicare.
I can keep my own doctor and choose my own hospital.
and I don't need a referral to see a specialist.
Call 1-800-897-2996 now. A personal health insurance advisor is waiting.
This is the Dick's Sporting Goods Halftime Report.
Good game at the break. South Florida and Pitt, a very banged-up Pitt. Without Cook, without Levance Field, South Florida on their home floor, still down 7 at the half. This is the Dick's Halftime Report. Welcome. North Carolina taking on UNC Asheville, and for Asheville, get to know Kenny George. Put paddles in those shoes. You can row down a river.
Well, he is right out of Jack and the Beanstalk. Opponents need some of Jack's magic beans to reach the heights of this man.
Kenny George, 7'7", 360 pounds, wears size 26 shoes, runs a canoe rental business in the off-season out of those boats. 26.
And he can pass.
2 times the size of my foot.
Reminds me a little bit of Chief in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Just run the floor and word on the street as he likes the Wrigley Spearmint gum as well.
Give it to him. Wrigley Spearmint, Bubble Yum. Here he's just chowing up Carolina offenders. Tyler Hansbrough looks like a junior high player. Not for very long, though. But you don't have to jump high when you're 7'7".
Loses interest at times, but like field goal posts, he just puts the hands up and knocks it down.
Just throw it near the rim. Did he get off the feet?
Doesn't have to jump.
Rich Cracker can barely slide under there, but it counts.
Here we go.
Tyler Hansbrough says, here's what I think is 7'7", 360.
It's a good one on ESPNU, 73-60. Memphis unbeaten. Little battle with East Carolina early. Not a surprise. Rose leading the way. Hasn't missed a shot. He's got 9 points. Tennessee and Ole Miss had a great battle. 20-19 there as the two ranked teams. And Ole Miss unbeaten, of course. Vandy also unbeaten there, leading South Carolina by a score of 21-16. Duke dealing with Temple. That game over on ESPN. Take a look at the Dukies before the game. First half, they're up by 1. Greg Paulus driving. John Shire's in the corner.
That's what Duke has to do, is stroke the ball from distance. They don't have a traditional low-post center, and it's their defense that creates offense.
Duke early struggled to score, but they didn't become offensive sensitive. They continued to really defend, and they got out in their defense. Right here creates offense. Mike Krzyzewski, over the years, guys, he uses this Temple game every year to give them a non-ACC look, and he's getting it tonight.
Nolan Smith there. Temple turnover, another one on their end, and that leads to an easy dunk for the three-point shooter. Look at King get up.
At a modern-day high school, Southern California boy.
53-37. They're coming off of a game against Duke is Cornell. All right, taking on the Flyers, it's Rhode Island. Top two teams in the A-10, and the alley-oop there that's finished off by Hill. And Dayton is up 64-58. Good game as that one continues. We'll have highlights on College Game Night at 1:40 a.m. Eastern Time. That's East Coast time. Perfect time for Lab as we start focusing on the West Coast. Arizona State. Not since Ike Diagu was at ASU do they think that maybe the sort of tide is shifting. In fact, Arizona State got more AP votes this week than Arizona did in the polls.
Well, you look at what Herb Sendek can do as a basketball coach. First of all, he's awfully sharp. He graduated with a 3.95 from Magnum Cum Laude or something.
Carnegie Mellon?
Carnegie Mellon, yeah. So the guy can flat out coach, and he's sharp. But their defense right now is a difference maker. That matchup zone, awfully difficult to get inside against it.
Yeah, and they control tempo. They have an excellent assist-to-turnover ratio. An outstanding freshman in James Harden at 6'5", getting it done, putting up big numbers, and a defender as well. Leads their team in steals. So as you look at Arizona in this matchup tonight, the key, Chase Budinger is going to have to carry the team. Nick Wise is the replacement for the injured Jared Bayless, and down low, Jordan Hill has been putting up big numbers.
When you look at Arizona State, I think what makes them so difficult is you see Harden right there going to the rim, and Jeff Pendergraft. They both really post up well in that cutter followed by another cutter offense that Arizona State runs. And you look at Arizona in that ball game, Jared Bayless not in the floor right now. Can they score enough points and continue to defend? They can't get offensive sensitive in this game also.
Bad knee, by the way, and they get the sense, Lab, as you take a look at Arizona's schedule, that maybe there's not only a tide shifting in this series, but in this conference. I mean, Arizona, without Lute, O'Neal's a very good coach. They get some trouble here.
Well, I really believe tonight's game against the Sun Devils on the road, and these 7 games, those 8 games, are the defining stretch of Arizona's season. If they come out of these 8 games 4-4, they've survived it. But they're in position where they could go 1-7, and I hate to say it, fellas, don't want to be a doomsayer, but they could go 0-8 without a healthy Jared Bayless. This is a very difficult schedule. Even Houston, led by Robert McKeever, is a dangerous team. Tom Penders has that team going down in Houston. So that's going to be a tough game as well. With Bayless healthy, right, okay, and Jordan Hill down low, a pro prospect. Jared Bayless, a pro prospect at the wing. Chase Budinger, a pro prospect at the wing, and Jared Bayless up top. They're capable of being a top 15 team, a Sweet 16 level team. Without Bayless, who knows?
Right. And we'll see. Bayless not scheduled to play. He's got a bad knee. They anticipate he'll try it during warm-ups. If he can go, he will. If not, that's not going to be good news for Arizona. All right, we'll come back, folks. Pittsburgh, they're up on the road. They're banged up as well. Just getting started on our way towards March.
This halftime report is presented by Dick's Sporting Goods. Every season starts at Dick's.
Cold gear when it's cold. Available at Dick's Sporting Goods, your Under Armour headquarters.
Cold gear when it's cold. Available at Dick's Sporting Goods, your Under Armour headquarters.
You eating enough? You look a little thin.
Yeah, that's a very mom question, but yeah. I mean, enough.
I miss you, baby.
I miss you too.
Love you.
Yeah, we love you. We tell everyone about the relief work you're doing,
Of course you did.
Welcome to a network that's bringing countries and families a little closer.
It's been a while now.
Cisco, welcome to the Human Network.
Now you see me? Now you don't. Now you see me. Now you don't. What you are seeing is how much farther, wider, and better you'll see with new Silver Star Ultra headlights from Sylvania. Because the next time you see me, I may not be alone. See farther, see wider, see better. New Silver Star Ultra headlights from Sylvania.
Until now, guys that sweat a lot had to have a backup plan. Now there's a better plan. New Gillette Clinical Strength Antiperspirant. Powerful wetness protection. 34% better than a prescription product. A lot more confidence.
Hey, Jason, you got that report, right?
You bet.
There's something different about you. Did you get a haircut?
Gillette Clinical Strength Antiperspirant. Change your life, not your shirt.
Buffalo Wild Wings.
You have to be here.
Eddie Jones getting set, sending a text over to Lav to discuss Chief and the gum that he chewed and One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest movie, but he is getting set for a game. Pistons and the Mavs over on ESPN comes up at 9 Eastern Time. Here are your news and notes. Roger Clemens and company, the congressional hearings postponed until February 13th as lawmakers will get depositions from Clemens and from Pettit and from McNamee. Transferring from Michigan, Ryan Mallett and Pete Carroll in the news as he has allegedly discussed the Falcons coaching vacancy with the owner, Arthur Blank. And sources tell ESPN.com Blank appears ready to offer an all personnel decisions. Charlotte and Clemson. Whoa, Clemson losing at home right now, 43-32. Xavier up big over St. Bonnie's. Providence in a good game with Rutgers. Georgia over Georgia Tech. Look at what OSU is doing to Iowa. Syracuse and Cincinnati midway through the first half. The Dick's Sporting Goods halftime report.
This halftime report is presented by Dick's Sporting Goods. Every season starts at Dick's.
Okay, so it's half price at happy hour.
Right.
I'm going to get a Coke, and if you want to get...
Well, you're not maximizing your half priceage there. Why just get one thing? Get 8 things.
Oh.
And it's half price. So get a lemon lime, vanilla chocolate, strawberry cherry Coke.
But I wouldn't want to drink that.
But it's half price.
Okay.
So get 2.
Happy hour at Sonic. All fountain drink and slush combinations half price every day from 2 to 4 p.m. And a perfect excuse to try some cheesecake bites. It's not just good, it's Sonic good.
Even more dreams will come true during the 2008 Disney Dreams giveaway. Like an overnight stay in the Cinderella Castle, Magical Dream Fast Passes, and other surprises. Becoming Grand Marshal in Disney parades around the globe. Even stay overnight in the park in the Disneyland Dream Suite, originally designed for Walt Disney himself. It's all going on now as part of the Year of a Million Dreams at the place where dreams come true. Visit DisneyParks.com.
When you open a Samuel Adams lager and begin to pour it out, you get this beautiful amber color, and you put your nose in it, and you get the smell of flowers called hops.
We use noble hops. They are expensive, but it's a better quality ingredient for Boston Lager.
Most brewers have a dash of hops.
We use a pound of hops per barrel.
We add some caramel malt to that, significant full flavor, but everything is there in balance.
The proof is in the taste.
Hey, I'm Don Shula, and I lost 32 pounds on Nutrisystem.
And I'm Marianne Shula, and I've lost 23 pounds on Nutrisystem.
Introducing Nutrisystem Silver, the new weight loss program that lets older Americans eat great and lose weight.
Let's face it, the older you get, the harder it is to lose weight.
Not anymore, honey. It's easy with Nutrisystem.
Call or go online now and get 4 weeks of delicious meals. Plus, through this offer, you'll get an extra week of Nutrisystem meals free.
I look and feel so much better.
I'm 77 years old, and I feel great.
Our secret is the breakthrough science of the glycemic advantage that separates good carbs from bad.
This is the kind of food you grew up loving. Pizza, burgers, lasagna.
Every perfectly portioned Nutrisystem meal is delivered right to your door, and your shipping is free.
It's so easy.
Trust me, you will lose weight.
See how Nutrisystem Silver can change your body. Get an extra week of food and these vitamins free. Call now.
We welcome you back to Wednesday Night Hoops, presented by Staples from the Sun Dome here in Tampa, Florida. Number 18, Pitt, with a 7-point lead over the South Florida Bulls. Dave O'Brien, Doris Burke with you. Dwan Blair only played 5 minutes in the first half.
But Mr. McGee came up big for the Pitt Panthers. He got in early. This was right after he checked in. A couple of screens, which we expected, screens, fouls, but he was a factor on the offensive end. Tip in there. He made a pass to get Biggs a shot, and then Benjamin took over. He was sensational from the perimeter. He had a couple of floaters, and every time South Florida got close, he was the one to give him separation. As expected, the two guys who did the bulk of the scoring, the freshman Jones, he hit a couple of threes from deep. Excellent ball movement on that particular possession, and this guy is a man, folks. Kentrell Gransberry was dominant this time, off balance, able to make enough shots. They ran their offense through him.
So our stat sheet now, Benjamin 11 and 3, good first half for Pitt. And for the South Florida Bulls, we talked about Gransbury 16 and 4. Verdejo has been good from beyond the three-point line. In fact, both teams have been very steady beyond the arc. Pitt 4 out of 9, South Florida 5 for 10. Fascinating moment. Playfully, Dwan Blair going up to one of the referees right before the second half got underway, went up to Gary Prager and put a hand on his hip, said, I got 2 now. You're keeping count just like I am. Foul underneath at the start of the second half, with Pittsburgh ahead by 7.
Dwan Blair is not shy. And the Pitt keys we talked about, Ronald Ramon played 17 of the 20 minutes. He had 3 points. As a team, 7 turnovers. And South Florida was able to generate 13 points off of those turnovers. So it negated one area we talked about. They had some effect. They did force the turnovers, get 13 points, but that bottom area for Stan Heath, and he said rebounding would be key tonight. They gave up 13 second chance points. 8 different guys from Pittsburgh rebounded the basketball. That's what I'm talking about. This team will grind. They'll find a way to win games.
Benjamin, Blair, Brown, Ramon, and Young on the floor. Brown, by the way, just picked up his 3rd foul. So the second Panther in a little bit of difficulty. Young, yes. That's how they got started tonight, with Sam Young at 17 points per game, knocking it down.
Inside-out skills. He can post in the box if you go small on him. He's got great elevation to get over guys, but he can also go off the dribble in either direction.
He and Chris Howard, handling it now for South Florida, are the best of friends. Stolen away by Benjamin. On the attack with Jones on his hip. Flips it up and in.
Good defense out of the 2-3 zone that Pittsburgh will probably show a lot more of with that foul trouble you just mentioned. Come out of it here, go man-to-man.
Pitt having dropped out of the top 10 with a couple of disappointing losses. The bank shot won't go by Ajihi as he opens up the second half in the starting lineup for Stan Heath, giving them a little more size too at 6'9". Blair at the foul line. The rebound tip to South Florida.
Yeah, great point. At 6'9", trying to get some more assistance on the backboards.
Pull up, long one by Jones, in and out. Gransbury keeps it alive, leans in. Boy, he is a load, isn't he?
Yeah, very good no call by Pat Driscoll. He's sitting there waiting. And that is one little point of emphasis, especially around the rim. The block charge. There's no charge there. Really good, solid offensive player in Kentrell Gransbury.
Brown bouncing underneath. Blair got airborne in contact as he's fouled. Let's go back a couple of plays now, and a theft by Keith Benjamin.
You mentioned it. He's the experienced guy. Just gets his hand up as the pass goes forth, and then does a nice job shielding the defender to go ahead and get 2.
Ramon, yes! All net for Ronald Ramon, who can play both guard spots. Obviously, shooting guard, he's just fine.
Yeah, one of those challenges for Jamie Dixon with the injuries was where to get Ramon's shots, because he was handling the ball at the point so much. That time off the ball, same thing he did in the first half.
Howard into the paint, stripped. They get it right back. Ajihi dumping it down low, the basket as well. On the foul, 17:37 to go here in the second half.
You got to stay attached if you're South Florida. Stay close enough that you put yourself in a position to win. The miss, but good positioning. Chris Howard, a guard who can play close to the rim. He's got excellent size. They will post him in certain situations.
(47-39). Here's Young, wanting to go one-on-one. Strategy here, but what a great move to glass that in. Great athletic play by Sam Young.
Hard to contend with that guy one-on-one. He's got good patience, keeps his pivot foot down. And again, Dave, that value of being able to go in both directions. You don't know what to anticipate.
Dejo lost his dribble. Here's Howard. Tough drive. In the lane, slicing in for two.
He's a nice-looking player. 6'3", 200, can go off the dribble, finds guys. You see on his head, he's got a little bit of a design, just like his counterpart, Gransbury. A little bit of team unity. They go to the same barber. His name is Elvis. You like the style?
I would not have said Elvis, but Blair, he's fouled on the deck. It's 16:32 to go in the contest. Looks like a pretty cleaned up look there, however, by Kentrell Gransbury. Just picked up his second foul.
He had a fleur-de-lis in his head. Remember, he's a Baton Rouge native, a transfer from LSU.
And maybe the best rebounder in the Big East today, as he averages nearly 12 boards per game. Brown, slick bounce pass. He can't get it to go on the reverse. Blair is back on the bench now for Pitt. In traffic, high off the window. Jones and a great foul.
Well, Jamie Dixon going to use the timeout, and I think wisely here.
Gransbury, hard to believe that you might lose him in the lane, but he's able to follow that one up for South Florida to make it 49-43.
You have got great job, great body control, going to the basket, able to continue an offensive rebounding opportunities, get them back within 6.
Say cheese. Papa John's is celebrating 24.
Welcome back to Wednesday Night Hoops, presented by Staples from sunny South Florida. Pitt with that 6-point lead, but still 16:09 remaining in the second half here from the Sun Dome on the big campus of South Florida, where they can boast some, 44,000 students, you said?
Yes, 44,000. And here is one of their most productive students, at least on the basketball floor. And DeJuan Blair back into the basketball game. You had McGee miss a chip, he then get beat on the defensive end. So Jamie goes right back with the guy.
Gransbury already with his degree. Looks like he has that degree in rebounding instead of communications. Right now pursuing a secondary degree as well, as he graduated in December. Benjamin out high for Pitt.
South Florida goes zone.
Blair, an errant bounce pass. Oh, Ramon went down hard. Pitt certainly cannot afford another key guy going down like that. Foul on Chris Howard on the scramble. Ramon's all right, but he hit that deck pretty hard. Florida looking for the upset, but they have plenty of time to make up the ground. The Pitt Panthers with the 49-43 lead over the South Florida Bulls. Wednesday Night Hoops from the Sun Dome.
I talked earlier, you worry when Ramon hits the ground. He's playing with that dislocated right shoulder. That's his shooting arm, his main handle hand. So if he hits the deck and you're Jamie Dixon, you are holding your breath.
Good to see the grin from Ronald Ramon, the senior, but he got clipped big time. Inbounds to Young off the fake, back out to Ramon. Young sizes up the long one. And the rebound comes to South Florida. Dominic Jones looking to cut into this lead. Is this their window? Chin, too strong. Brown, the only man really in foul trouble right now, handling the rock here for Pitt. He's playing with 3. We talked about Blair on the bench for all but 5 minutes in the first half. That'll rattle in for Gilbert Brown from the corner.
They are shooting at a very high percentage, over 50% for Pitt.
And 56% overall, 6 out of 12 beyond that arc for Pittsburgh. Bozeman up top for Gransbury. Shot clock down to 11. Here's Jones way downtown, right in front of his own bench.
There are times where this guy is so far from the rim that you don't think he's going to shoot it. So as a defender, maybe your hand isn't up in challenge. You're not as ready as you should be.
Benjamin swinging the pass off the fingertips of Young. The turnover again opens that door for South Florida. Look at the depth on this three-pointer, though. I mean, Dominic Jones, just incredible range out there. He's at 43% overall beyond the arc. That one should have counted for 4.
Well, you got to put some heat. A big score here would really put some pressure on Pitt.
Jones, shot clock down to 10. Does he want another one? The kick for Bozeman. Shot clock at 5. Into the lane the other way. Banks it in.
Wow. Boy, that's tough to take if you're Pitt, because you played terrific defense for 33 seconds and somebody hits a tough shot in your grill. This team and this program prides itself on toughness. They need to find it right now.
South Florida within 4. Young. Yes. Sam Young with the bucket. Has been the offensive thrust for them tonight.
It is a program that over the last 6 years has been outstanding. The most dominant force in the Big East in that period.
The Browns made 6 out of 9. He has a dozen points. Gransbury, yes. A little too easy for him.
Yeah.
Because it's all over when he gets it that close.
Well, if he catches it, forget about it. Pitt, there's nobody in help position, and those are 2 big bodies. They are banging with one another. Blair and Gransbury, great matchup.
Pittsburgh in a battle. Before they lost Lance Fields and Cook, they probably didn't think this would ever be this close all night long. The answer to Blair, he got it to go. He'll go to the line. And a big answer. Verdado with the foul to put DeJuan Blair to the stripe.
You know, that's disappointing to the perimeter guys who are doing a heck of a job putting ball pressure outside, and you give up an easy one. Gransbury and Verdado inside fall asleep at a good pass.
So Blair, a 63% foul shooter. It's one of the few things that he is still a work in progress on, it would appear. Seems so far ahead of his years with 6 double-doubles already this season.
It's not a guy they really look to feature in the offense. With Gransbury having just checked out on Pitt's next possession, see if they look to work the big fella inside, or fella as they now refer to DeJuan Blair. Yep. Just fella.
Just fella. And he will answer that call as he has here in the second half, getting a chance to play. Finally off the bench, the blocking foul. Trying to slow up Dominic Jones. And the foul on Benjamin will be his first. Benjamin having a good ball game with 13 points, came in averaging 8. Brown also has 10 for Pitt, and Young has 12. Gransbury is 22 to lead all scorers for South Florida. Off the inbounds, the leaner, nicely done. Verdado, the junior, drops in the bucket.
Yeah, they run good action, almost like a wheel motion. I like their half-court stuff. They run a lot of double and triple staggers to get Jones shots.
Well, the last 3 or 4 minutes, by far the best stretch of the night for the South Florida Bulls. Looking to spring an upset against a reeling Pitt team. Young took the pass, and the foul is in the paint off the ball. 12:02 to go in the contest.
Bozeman got a foul. I don't necessarily, he's been burned a couple times. When Ramon's been able to get off the ball and then come off screens and get shots, he's been effective. So Bozeman trying to prohibit that.
Pitt off the inbounds play to Ramon. He will set it up now for the Panthers. Their lead has shrunk to 5.
Using clock, getting the tempo where they want it. Just a big basket, so they'll be patient.
Off the screen by Biggs. Ramon. Great rebound by Biggs. Trying to return it. Bottled up. Swatted away. Ajihi with a big block. Verdejo got airborne. Tossed it out. Here's the long one. That's too strong. Bozeman misfires. Ajihi gets it back. Tried to fire that pass into the defense, and they turn it right back over. Benjamin to Blair. Look at how well they move it down to Young for 2.
Wow. I don't know how many big men who on the move can make that catch and pass that Blair just made.
In South Florida, a whole lot of effort. Bozeman with an ugly-looking shot kind of pushes it up there, and now gives it right back. Lots of effort, but not a whole lot of result for South Florida. But how about on the other side?
Yeah, how about the catch and pass by Blair on the move, gets it to Young. Pretty stuff.
Wednesday night hoops from South Florida, and the Bulls within 7 now. Number 18 Pitt.
Well, Pitt just scored a bucket to spread him out, but just check out where his feet are. This is Jones, the outstanding freshman. He surprises people with those shots. This one under duress of the shot clock. This an outstanding pass and finish against DeJuan Blair by Kentrell Gransbury, and then the floater inside. They made the good push. That was the point I said, Pittsburgh's got to show some toughness. And what do? They go ahead and get a couple more buckets, and it's 7 again.
Well, one of the reasons that South Florida is shooting the ball a little bit better than is typical for them tonight. From three-point land, they're 6 out of 13. And overall at 48%. Just 8th in the Big East overall in shooting.
Well, people want to talk about the scoring and the passing that those two guys, Mike Cook and Levance Fields, brought. Let's remember they're two terrific individual defenders, and Levance Field on the ball triggers that defensive presence.
Blair on the high post off to Biggs. Just came up with a huge rebound moments ago. Shot clock at 12. Wanamaker threads his way in, flips it up. Biggs trying to control the rebound, has 7 to shoot. Now down to 4. Dixon got off that bench to let Ramon know we got to go. And now on the outlet, Verdejo beats everybody on the other end for South Florida. Quick to strike.
Just get out transition. That way you don't have to grind against our Pittsburgh defense. How many times tonight have we seen South Florida take that shot clock inside 5 seconds? That one an easy one.
Boy, a game that Pitt just cannot let slip away. Foul here with 10:05 remaining. And Dominique Jones, the freshman.
You see Ramon under duress of the shot clock. He is the point guard, so that takes your floor balance on the defensive end out of whack. And no rotation by Pittsburgh leads to an easy transition hoop.
Verdejo now with 11. From the Sun Dome here in South Florida. And limping away now, Chris Howard. And one of the Bulls' top guns at 12 points per game. He had 19 against Syracuse. Heading to the bench, Wednesday Night Hoops presented by Staples. Pitt and the South Florida Bulls. Doris Burke, Dave O'Brien with it. Great to have you along. And it's turned into a good one here with under 10 minutes to go in the contest.
Trainer from South Florida right now rubbing the right thigh, which appears to be cramping on Howard.
Benjamin on the dribble. His follow-away, yes! Inside the arc, a two-pointer.
Keith Benjamin, the up-tempo pace that Pittsburgh is playing more this year suits that guy's style.
15 for Benjamin tonight. Holmes dumps it inside. Pass nearly came free. 9:24 to go here.
Still think you got to work through Gransbury. Come right back to this side.
Shot clock down to 7. Chin way outside. But Jones, who just hit one from on his bench moments ago, but not this time.
Tell you what, in half court, he wants to shoot threes. You see Jones attack off the dribble more when he's in transition, so I'd sell out on his jump shot and make him put it on the deck in a half court.
Benjamin barking on a play now for Jamie Dixon. They're in a fight here. Young spins. The foul came before the shot. 8:48 to go. And a personal foul on Jesus Verdejo. He's a capable scorer, but he hasn't been a consistent threat. He had 20 against East Carolina, had 18 against Buffalo, but just 3 in 33 minutes against UAB, and scored just 1 basket against Syracuse over the weekend, as Young drops in the first one.
Checking in for the Bulls, number 22, Solomon Postman.
Sam Young, great pals with Chris Howard. Teammates at Friendly High in Maryland, and look at all the state titles that's combined over their tenure.
Yeah, I played on 2 together. There by Columbia, Maryland, and you know this was a good call from the sideline here by Jamie Dixon, because you had Verdejo at 6'4", checking Young at 6'6", and when you account for Young's ability to get off his feet, that 6'6" feels more like 6'8".
Now Pitt still keeping it fairly comfortable, 63-54. South Florida has shown some tendencies to make runs when they speed up the ball game a little bit. Let's see if they do it when they do get a chance to get into the open floor here in the half-court set. Chin to take the baseline. Airborne, nicely done. That was a difficult shot for 2.
Degree of difficulty. They call him a freakish athlete. He showed you there. Great hang time.
Out of Jamaica, the 6'7" freshman. Out high, it's Blair. He is commanding movements. Very vocal for a freshman in particular. Shot clock at 15. Here's Young. Long fall away. Off target, Blair. Little contact. Fired it up. Here's Biggs again to return it. Another miss by Pitt. And now the foul, and it'll be Blair to the line. He finally got it to go.
Now you get an example of why South Florida staff said rebounding would be the most important thing we do tonight. Well, guess what? Pittsburgh showing extraordinary toughness on the glass, getting after the offensive backboards, multiple shot opportunities. You want to talk about toughness, take some hits, finish, and an and-one situation coming for DeJuan Blair.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by Staples. That was easy.
Got 4 scores in 7 years ago today. Here were the unbeatens and how they're doing. Carolina, a winner. Memphis up 43-29. Derrick Rose got 12 early. Mississippi and Tennessee in a great game, 45-44 there at the half. And Vanderbilt just in a scare as well, 45-43. We'll stay posted here.
Well, the unbeatens there at the very top. Of course, Carolina still 15-0 despite that scare by Clemson. There's Memphis at 13-0. Many predicting they'll run the table. And Carolina still number 1.
Michigan State got tested against a very young Purdue team, Matt Painter. They will dig it out in a half court on the defensive end. And we've got Connecticut, Georgetown on Saturday at Georgetown, 2 of the best defensive teams in the country going after each other. Both teams in the top 6 in field goal percentage defense. They will guard.
DeJuan Blair to the line, trying to finish off three-point play as Chin had fouled him right before the timeout. Hit at 52%. South Florida right there at 49. So they both shot it well from the opening seconds here in the Sun Dome. Three-point play for Blair. That's 7 fouls now for South Florida, so Pitt's in the bonus. 7:41 remaining in the game. Chin out high, looking inside. Let's see if Gransbury gets a touch. They tried for him, and Blair was there to pick it.
Yeah, that's just great defense. What did he do on the pass? Your post player releases contact. You go out in the passing lane. That is a nice play by a young freshman in Blair.
You see the quick feet of Blair as well. As that wingspan of a 7'2" player. Here's Young to launch from the corner. All net for Sam Young.
Nice to see a young man who struggled through his first 2 years, felt like he should have been playing more, not let it impact him, not look to transfer, just hang in tough.
10-2 run for Pitt. seemingly every time South Florida threatens to make a game of it, Pitt goes on that run. Ransbury got too close to the iron. Had a couple of shots at it. South Florida will keep it with 33 on the shot clock.
I'd want him to get a touch every time. Every time they run their offense through Gransbury, it's either a shot close for him or a kick out to a shooter.
Jones off the inbounds. South Florida trying to fashion a run of their own here. 69-56. Gransbury asking for it again with that hand up. Wants to go up against Biggs. Brown comes over to help. And another time he got a good look, but it won't fall in.
Two sequences. You can see Pitt's defensive philosophy against him. They want to let him catch, and then they're going to make him play over the top. Just make tough shots with a defender going chest to chest. I think it's the best you can do with the guy.
Well, he's had a good night with 22, but Pitt is starting to suffocate him. Brown on the baseline. Benjamin, little shove there in the lane, and it's going to be on DeJuan Blair. And he will argue the point here with Prager, but that's going to be number 3 on him.
Well, this was the official he was having the conversation with, so clearly he didn't have the impact he was hoping to have. Let's see. Okay, that's a good call. I mean, they're both tangled up, but that clearly is a foul on Blair.
And sending Cantrell Gransbury at 6'9", 270 sprawling across the lane.
With one arm. I mean, that gives you some sense of this guy's strength with one arm. 270 pounds is not taking its toll on 260 pounds.
Under 6 minutes. Chin, the alley-oop, bad pass, left it way short. Tried the entry inside. And now Pitt with a chance to really get comfy here in South Florida tonight.
Use a lot of clock. It's just great game management. A lot of this management, personnel and otherwise, Jamie Dixon is going to have to do a masterful job.
Young, nice fake, draws the shot and maybe to the head as well. It comes up initially holding the back of his head, but he's all right.
Foul, number 1, Cantrell Gransbury. That's his 3rd.
So it's number 3 on Gransbury to send Young to the line. He'll be shooting 2. He has 19 points. So 2 above his average and 8 out of 12 from the field. He's just had a very solid night. Young at 75%, set the line.
Played behind Levon Kendall last year. The pace was a little bit slower at which Pittsburgh played. Kendall was a nice complementary player to Aaron Gray, but there was no question some frustration by Young as Sam just hung in there, a very quiet guy. They've asked him to come out of his shell a little bit socially. He's done everything you've asked while waiting his turn.
Yeah, we featured him, Sam Young, playing the piano before Pitt's game against Syracuse last winter. Clearly he's more than just the piano player, and he's had a fine game with 20 points and 4 rebounds. Quick whistle, 5:14 to go in this contest. ESPN dishes 2 college basketball games Saturday afternoon. First at noon Eastern. Catch an ACC showdown as NC State takes on Tyler Hansbrough on top-ranked and undefeated North Carolina. Then at 2 Eastern, coverage moves to the Big East. It's Connecticut. Roy Hibbert taking on the UConn Huskies. Number 8, Georgetown in the fray.
Well, that rematch of the ACC championship game. Remember the great run by the Wolfpack? Sidney Lowe did a terrific job. That red coat. Think that'll be out?
Can't wait to see Gilbert Brown with his 3rd foul for the Pitt Panthers. South Florida trying to get it in play here, and they finally do out to Jones. Jones with 11 and another whistle. And another foul against Pittsburgh, and that will go against Gilbert Brown.
It's a disciplined defensive team, though. Only the 6th team foul on Pittsburgh with 5 to play. And they've had to guard the shot clock for long stretches.
Gransbury on Blair. Pretty good matchup here. This is a whole lot of muscle. Rebounded by Saka. Back up. That won't fall in for him. South Florida will keep it here. A long possession for the Bulls, but they're not getting it to go down. Now Brown will leave the floor with 4. And Bozeman gets it in. Verdejo. Saka trying to look through that mask. Ransbury on the high post. The launch by Verdejo won't drop.
So fundamentally sound, Pittsburgh, in their defensive principles. Guys in the right help position, people turning to find bodies to check out.
Pitt up by 14, so they have doubled their halftime lead. They've done it slowly, methodically, and have grinded this a little bit. Benjamin there for the 3, and that's a bit of a dagger for South Florida. They take a timeout. A 10-0 run suddenly for the Pitt Panthers.
But Jamie Dixon, over his 4 years of coaching, has lost back-to-back games only 5 times. So that was at stake tonight. His team has reacted as usual after a loss.
A lot of good ball movement to get to that shot and find the open man in Benjamin, and he drained it. 6 seasons of success for Pittsburgh going back to 2001. Look at that record. That's 5th best in NCAA Division I, 6 straight tournament bids, and 6 consecutive 20-plus win seasons. And even with the injuries, devastating injuries indeed to many teams, they believe they're going to get there again. Right now, they're 12-2.
Yeah, only Duke over the last 6 years has appeared in more Sweet 16s than Pittsburgh. Duke has 5. The other teams with 4, Texas, Connecticut, and Kansas. So Jamie Dixon has got to be incredibly proud of sustained success. It's one thing to have success for 1 year, but when you can sustain it in a conference like the Big East as consistently as they have, you are doing something.
So the lead bulges to 17, and many in the crowd are already starting for the exits here at the Sun Dome. They do not believe, at least the folks who are heading for those highways, that the Bulls have a comeback run in them here. But still, 4 minutes left. Saka got bottled up. Ransbury rebounds and banks it in. Excellent touch underneath there. So good on the offensive glass, isn't he?
Just 2 guys who really get after it on the window.
He's got himself a double-double. Young with 2 more. He's had the biggest night tonight with 22 points for Pittsburgh. Quick answer, 3.5 minutes remaining in this one.
Yeah, you have got to go all efficient, quick hitters if you're South Florida right now. You cannot take time off the clock. If you're Pitt, it's exactly the opposite. You'd like to take this thing inside of 8 seconds every time.
Ramon, good one to have the ball in his hands for Pitt, trying to shed some of that clock, a 15-point lead. Benjamin will shoot it and nail it.
Just great execution. 10 seconds on the clock before you shoot it. Jamie Dixon going to use a timeout.
So back up to 17, 77 to 60. South Florida gave it a pretty spirited run there, and had the Pitt Panthers, if not thinking, well, we're going to collapse tonight, at least in a little bit of trouble about 8 minutes ago.
Yeah, they were able to stay attached for a long stretch of this basketball game. And if you're Stan Heath, you understand this is going to be a process. He landed on his feet after what happened at Arkansas. He feels as though the athletic department is committed to the basketball program, as committed as they are to the football program. And he said Tampa is not a bad place to be.
On a daily basis, not too bad at all. Well, Sam Young has lit it up tonight. Came in averaging 17. He has topped that and then some now with 22 points, 9 of 13 shooting.
That's a guy who is a classic gym rat. In the first 2 years, they had to beg him to stay out of the gym. I mean, he'd play practice, then he'd go over to the rec center try to find a pickup game. It wore on his knees and had an impact on his game. Well, guess what? He's healthy. He rested. He understands the value of taking time off, and it has helped him to be successful this season.
16 of his 22 in the second half as Verdejo goes in for 2. Back to 15, pressure by the Bulls. And Biggs brings it across. Boy, they passed the ball really well, haven't they, all night long, leading to a foul here underneath the rim. And we have a timeout on the floor. 2:39 remaining. Pitt putting the finishing touches on a road win in the Big East tonight.
An Ole Miss team that's 13-0 dealing with Tennessee, and a tough test going on. Tennessee, Lofton to the rack, lays it up and lays it in. That put them up 48, I should say. Now 53, and Jawan Smith in the corner buries a three. Ole Miss on the ropes. They're down 56-48. Highlights coming up on game night as well as SportsCenter at 11 Eastern on ESPN2. Vandy's unbeaten, currently leading South Carolina by 4. Cincinnati over the Cuse 46-35. Providence leading Rutgers 66-43 in the Big East. Back to the game.
Ole Miss still there at 13-0, but trouble tonight. Carolina, Vandy, Kansas, Memphis, Washington State, and Ole Miss. Those are the remaining unbeatens. Pitt was unbeaten through their first 11 games of the season before finally tasting a loss, and now they have dropped 2. They've also fallen from the top 10 to number 18, but they mean to stay in that top 20 behind DeJuan Blair and company. The freshman has had an outstanding season, averaging a double-double. He grew up in a house just, 500 yards from the Peterson Event Center, led his high school to the state title last year, and he said when he signed with Pitt, I know this campus better than the coaches. I've been around so much.
He's probably right. Coaches just need to know where their offices and the gym is.
Final 2.5 minutes in this one. Verdejo with a 3. Gransbury again fighting. He hits the deck and rolls over. Gransbury just relentless as a rebounder. Another double-double for him tonight. 24 points and 10 rebounds. And it'll be South Florida ball here. Gransbury had 13 rebounds against Syracuse. He had 17 against Rutgers, 15 against UAB.
You can see how he does it. He gets a lot of them out of his area. He's not afraid to hit the deck. He's got great nose for where missed shots will come off.
Holmes inside 3. Saka with a 3. And that one hits the iron with a thud. Back out to Jones. They want him to shoot it. But the shot's just not falling here down the stretch the last 7 or 8 minutes for South Florida. And it's taken them out of it.
Gransbury in body type and body size reminds you of Big Baby Davis.
Yes.
Not as polished or as the scorer sometimes or early in his career the Baby was, but with Baby's success, it's going to open those NBA scouts' minds as to how effective a guy like he can be.
Jones going one-on-one with the miss, and it's Blair cradling the rebound for the Pitt Panthers, who are about to go to 13-2. And Doris, they've got Seton Hall coming up next, and then Georgetown on January 14th on ESPN.
That's why you said they had to come out of here with more than a 10, because from your team's psyche standpoint, if you lose 2, then that third one, that next one against Seton Hall becomes a monumental mental challenge. You want a little bit of Mo, the big Mo, going against G-Town.
Under 90 seconds left on the game clock here. Ramon has had a gutsy kind of a game. Remember how hard he hit the floor when he got clipped on that foul down in the corner. He bounced right back. He's already playing with that banged up shoulder, like Pitt could survive another injury.
7 assists, just 3 turnovers under extraordinary pressure. He's got 6 points, a board to his credit.
His follow-away 3, trying to beat that shot clock. Now on the run out, here's Verdejo with Holmes, and Verdejo with the basket. So the crowd has thinned out considerably than what was here at the start of the second half, when it was a 7-point lead for Pitt. They opened it up to 17 at one point. Biggs fighting with Saka for the rebound. It comes out to Blair, and Benjamin will set it up less than a minute to go. And South Florida still on that learning curve. Last year, a 12-18 record. Then they brought on Stan Heath now in his first year as the head coach. Trying to build the program here, but a loss tonight. They will drop to 10-6. Pitt on the line. Benjamin almost sitting right on top of it. 79-64.
They'll take on the Big East's leading scorer, Pittsburgh will, in their next time out. Brian Lang from Seton Hall. 19.5 points per game.
So 35 seconds to go here. I've gotten an eyeful of Cantrell Gransbury tonight, and the big senior for South Florida may not get a whole lot of love from the national press, but tonight 26 points, 11 rebounds, averaging 15 and 12 coming in.
A guy who a lot of people don't know about. South Florida's exposure on national TV, not what some of the other Big East schools are. So you're right. I mean, he's a player that not a lot of people know about.
And some of this down the stretch, certainly garbage time and what you call garbage points, but he played big when the game was close as well.
No question, a dominant factor early.
So that will do it. Pitt wins this one 79-66. Jamie Dixon and company, despite all the big injuries, they pick up another victory tonight here in South Florida. Coming up next, the 1998 NFC wildcard game, the Packers and 49ers. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com. For Doris Burke, I'm Dave O'Brien as we say good night from Tampa, Florida. Now let's send it to Carl Ravitch and the gang back in the studio.
Dave and Doris, thank